Do you like revenge games? I sure do. I am really excited for Saquon Barkley coming back to MetLife. Let's break down everything you need to know about this Week 7 revenge matchup for Saquon Barkley versus with his Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants at MetLife. Let's get into it. First, we'll talk about the quarterback matchup because it is kind of tasty, and there are some things that we need to take away that you guys need to consider. Everything you need to know, DFS, props, start sits is about to happen right. Meow. Starting with the Giants quarterback and the Eagles quarterback, we got Jalen Hurts versus Daniel Jones. Let's talk about what the Eagles defense allows on average to talk about the advantages that Daniel Jones may or may not have. So the Eagles defense are ranked 13th when it comes to pass touchdowns. They allow 1.4 pass TDs per game. They're ranked 16th in terms of pass attempts, 31.8 pass attempts per game. 25th for pass completions, 19.4 pass completions. 11th for pass yards. That means that they get crushed with chunk plays. If we look at Daniel Jones props right now, currently, if we cross-reference them, his passing yards is way under what the Eagles allow. His pass completions is slightly over what the Eagles allow. His rushing yards is fairly tasty. I do like it. Longest rush is also in play at 11.5, 28.5 rushing yards. Pass plus rush is something that I'd be interested in, but the 0.5 interceptions is also something I'd consider. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts and his matchup. This is one of the best rushing matchups for a rushing quarterback this week, FYI. So Jalen Hurts rushing yards or longest rush, both highly in play. The Giants defense on average allow 1.17 pass TDs per game. That's the 22nd most advantageous matchup. They allow 30.83 pass attempts per game, 19th most advantageous, 22 pass completions, 12th most advantageous, 223.83 pass yards. That's the 20th most advantageous. Not much to take away from there. Let's talk about the props that they currently have here on Drafters Fantasy. And if you want to tail any of these, make sure you use promo code DISCO to double your initial deposit, dollar for dollar, up to $100 Rooskies. You get to do a pick'em ticket. If you hit 8 props, it's 100x of your dollars. If you hit 2, that's 3x, and anywhere in between. All right. So currently, Drafters has Jalen Hurts passing yards at 217.5 pass yards. I like it. 19.5 completions. Also like it. 36.5 rushing yards. I think it's totally doable, but the 12.5 longest rush to me is an absolute lock. Speaking of absolute locks, guys, revenge game, Saquon Barkley, he's him behind that offensive line. Let's talk about the running backs. So right now we don't have any clarity on if Devin Singletary is going to be playing or not. In the meantime, we're going to talk about the more explosive, exciting player, Tyron Tracy. Unfortunately, there are no props to discuss for him, but we'll talk about what the Eagles allow on average on a weekly basis to opposing running backs. So it's the 30th most advantageous, so not very advantageous. Obviously, the higher on the list becomes the most advantageous. The lower on the list is not so good. Not very good. 30th. So, yeah, it's not very advantageous for rushing touchdowns. We don't like Tracy for any time touchdown this week. But if we're talking about rush yards, it's very advantageous. 111 rushing yards. It's the 9th most advantageous matchup. 4.2 receptions. 21st most advantageous. This is just the running backs, by the way. And we're looking at 6th most advantageous for running back receiving yards at 41 receiving yards. When they do put out Tracy or Singletary longest reception prop, I would smash you over because the discrepancy here is absolutely significant. Okay, let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, why we all came here, guys, Saquon Barkley. But before we talk about that, let's talk about what the Giants defense allows on average. All right, so we can navigate how to, move through this matchup and the props that we want to take, especially with Saquon. Regardless, both of these running backs are must starts. Saquon Barkley is in line to have a biblical performance. Hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully he smashes it. Hopefully, everything goes in line. But yeah, once again, top 5, top 3, top 2, maybe even RB1 on the week. The Giants defense on average allows 0.33 rush touchdowns per game. That's the 27th most advantageous, so not very advantageous. They allow 81.67 rush yards, not super advantageous there either. And his rushing prop is actually 81.5, so I'm not liking the over or the under. I'm not touching it, right? But if we're looking at what the Giants defense allowed to opposing running backs and where they're weak, it's the 5.17 receptions. Currently, Saquon's reception prop is at 2.5. Really like the over there. and they allow 42.83 receiving yards. That's the sixth most advantageous matchup for running backs this week. And his current receiving yards prop is at 16.5. Longest receptions also in play, but I'm really targeting any of the three receiving props here. 16.5 receiving yards, I think he smashes that. 2.5 receptions, I think he smashes that. Longest reception, I think it's doable, but the receiving yards and the receptions, definitely the ones I'm interested in. Here's something else I'm interested in. Let's talk about the wide receiver matchup. So Malik Neighbors should be back. He's good to go. Let's talk about what the Eagles defense allows on average to opposing wide receivers. They allow 11.83 receptions to opposing wide receivers on average. That's the 15th most advantageous matchup if we're looking at receiving yards. They allow 162.2 receiving yards, ninth most advantageous matchup for opposing wide receivers. Malik Neighbors, his receiving prop on drafters right now is at 72.5. I don't really like it, guys. I'll be honest. I really don't like it because like we haven't seen him for a while. We don't know what kind of shape he's in. I do like him. I think he's in line for a smash matchup. Everything on paper makes sense, but it really is all indicative on how he is, feeling in if he's good enough to come back at full force. He has the fifth most advantageous matchup when it comes to receiving touchdowns for opposing wide receivers this week at 1.4 receiving touchdowns. Obviously, if you have him, start him. I don't like him. I don't love him, but like the matchup is as good as it gets for a wide receiver this week. He has top 10 upside easily this week and pretty much every single other week. The volume should be there. What he can do with it, we'll see for sure. We'll talk about what the Giants defense allows to opposing wide receivers right now. They allow 12.33 receptions to opposing wide receivers. They allow, which is the 11th most advantageous on the week. They allow 140.83 receiving yards, which is the 21st most advantageous, and one receiving touchdown to opposing wide receivers. So either AJ Brown or Devonta Smith for any time touchdown. Both absolute smash plays. I like both wide receivers a heck of a lot in this game if I'm looking at the props. I will wait for AJ Brown's longest reception to be present because he seems to absolutely smash that on a weekly basis. Currently, the only prop we have available is 71.5 receiving yards. I like Devonta Smith's longest reception at 21.5. His receiving yards is at 57.5. We could talk about the tight ends, but I don't want to talk about the tight ends. Let's be honest. If Dallas Goedert is out, it's not good for Caltera. Theo Johnson is not necessarily the most exciting tight end in football, and I'm very, very, very disappointed thus far with his usage, his utilization, and the drops. But yeah, even if Dallas Goedert plays, it's not a very advantageous matchup for tight ends across for him this week because the Giants defense is pretty good. If you guys like the video, please smash the freaking like. We're working on game 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All of them. We're working on all those guys. So turn the bell notifications on. I'm going to be posting the rest of the videos today, guys. Appreciate you. God bless you. Smash the like button. It really does help a lot. And subscribe to the channel. All right, God. All right, folks. Can't speak. It's early. All right, folks. God bless you. God love you. Until next time, which is like 30 minutes away from now. Bye.